Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to this week's new episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. BoomStick and Friends. And ladies and gentlemen, I have some friends with me. You know them. They're the regulars, the PTG crew, as you will. We might have a guest or two, but we are working on that right now. Let me just say we have a couple of very powerful topics. We have confirmation, ladies and gentlemen, that not only is Xbox going to show up, but apparently they're going to show up big. The question is, though, how big? How many trailers? Because we know that world premiere is being put to bed. That's being sent away with the dodos. No more world premieres, which I thought was weird. And that came in the way of Geoff Keighley, producer of the Game Awards. And, I mean, it's what the show was known for, right? Like world premiere. Everyone gets excited because, well, it's a new trailer. And I don't know why he decided to change it after all of this time, but I suppose we'll learn more. But we have to get into the introductions because, folks, we're going to spend the next 2 hours of your evening talking and kind of trying to guess what could show up. And there's some talk about should they go subtly? Do they go big? Do they go just a little bit because, they're trying to, make a statement. I say go as big and bombastic as you could possibly get because the world is watching. I know there's some people in certain camps that they want to cut their nose off to spite their face and say Xbox should just show up and bring nothing. And I think that's a mistake when you have this many eyes. I know that a lot of people are they don't need Geoff Keighley. And I think they kind of need each other. Geoff Keighley does not want an Xbox completely bowing out like, let's say, PlayStation did with E3, right? All those years ago. I think they need to kind of work together. I hope that there are some falsities that Xbox is kind of holding back the same way they did with the Series X reveal. That took Geoff Keighley, the producer of the show, by surprise. I'll never forget his look on his face because he thought it was going to be a Game Pass ad, and it turned out to be the Series X, and he was a little taken aback. I hope they do that again. I hope they show something so big, so powerful, that it just completely is the talk of the Game Awards, which is kind of why we're there. I mean, obviously there are awards, and most people say they don't really show up for that. I do, because I like seeing the developers get their flowers. Folks, making games is hard. And I couldn't do it even if I had help. So the amount of work that goes into some of these games, like a Baldur's Gate 3, for instance, that's been in early access for years, was literally a labor of love from the community. When you hear stories like that, you want to see these folks get their flowers. But listen, Kay Asante, what's going on, brother? How you feeling? Welcome back.
Yeah. Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. It's good to be here. It's been a hard week. These last couple of weeks have been tough for me, working from the office these days. So I'm actually a traveling man, but I always love being here on Wednesdays to talk gaming with the crew. I appreciate being here. It's great. Very interesting topic. So it's going to be an interesting one tonight.
We're going to have some fun. We're not going to get slanderous, but we are going to have some fun conversation about what could possibly be on the way for Microsoft. We know that they're bringing something, and we know that Hargeet Chani, because of Ryan McCaffrey of IGN, who put out a tweet showing an email that he got from Xbox, but that's not everything he said in the tweet. And I haven't showed it to you yet because I wanted to take your live on the air impressions. I'm going to bring up that tweet in a second. But Hargeet, welcome back, brother. How you feeling?
I'm good. I've been playing a whole bunch of games. That's basically it. I'm on vacation, so I've just been finishing and playing games and cutting my backlog.
That is a life. Wow. I thought retirement was good. But
Screw you, Hargeet. Screw you, buddy.
Yeah, so my Xbox backlog has shrunk from the 100 plus down to 70-ish. And I'm trying to cut down even more.
Wow.
So and this includes finishing Mario Wonder. I'm now playing Mario RPG. So I've been playing it.
It's so good, dude. Did you play the original from Square?
No, I never got to, and it is pretty good. It is pretty good. It's fun.
Wow, what a game, dude! Like honestly, like I bought, and I'll never forget. I remember when that game first came out and it was a Square Nintendo collaboration, everyone was like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
And it was amazing. And then when I
Yeah.
saw the remake, I said, come on, I got to get this. And
Yep.
it's just another Nintendo,
Home run, right? It's just it's what they do. They just put out games that are awesome.
they do. Yeah,
Yeah.
indeed.
Mario Wonder was fantastic. I finished that. They reinvented again.
They reinvented the wheel. They really did. Like I
See.
watched my nephew Tyler. He came over 2 weekends ago. He stayed over with us, and he just went to town. And I
So,
think
Huggy,
just
you now
incredible.
see why Everborn Saga is not here. His knees are mine, and it takes a long
Well,
time.
he's taking his time because he's crawling here rather than
the
running
kneeless
here.
one.
I don't know what's happening.
Yes.
You took his knees and he completely just gave up on primetime gaming. I got something for him. I got some smoke for him.
You know, it's unfortunate. He's betting against the elephant tusk. It is what it is. What are you gonna do?
I love it. First of all, shout out to Jose Morales. What's going on, brother? Welcome to the program. He says this in the chat. Did you hear those PlayStation fanboys saying that Xbox is done, that they're going third party? Yeah, some really bad takes about the conference call they had where they want to put Game Pass everywhere. I don't know. Is Netflix everywhere? Yes. Is Disney Plus everywhere? Yes. So why shouldn't Game Pass be everywhere? I don't know. You know what, Jose? Tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to be sitting down with Mav from Fun Speculation and 3-Bit, who put out another incredible response to this. And of course, we know 3-Bit. The dude worked on Fable. And I'm not talking about the old school Fable. I'm talking about the new school Fable. He's a developer. He's an incredible member of the community. I'm sitting down with both of those gentlemen tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for about 75 minutes. We're going to break down that exact topic. But let me just pause. I'm not the footage for a hot second because I want to bring up the tweet for Hargeet to see. Okay. Now, I will say this. This week for IGN has not been really that good. Obviously, Destin Legary, he put out the Xbox tax video isn't real. And, he got a little smoke from the community. He was very dismissive. I said this on a show yesterday that first of all, shout out to C Money, Infinite Umbra, and Daniel McGee. We put on yesterday a near 3-hour Xbox Factor podcast, and almost 90 plus minutes of that was responding, and it was tense at times. But we're all brothers, so we weren't mad at each other. But everyone had a real strong, pointed opinion. And, listen, if you missed it, definitely go check that out. But then Destin Legary, who, like I said, folks, you may not like him. I like Destin. I do. He is an Xbox guy. But in this particular video, he didn't do himself any real service with the Xbox community for a couple of reasons. One, he commented on Call of Duty single player, and he hasn't played it. That's a big no-no. I don't know who told him about the game, but he should have, before he made any comments, he should have played it. Now, you can go check my stuff. I've been playing it like an animal because I freaking really like it. Now, is it the greatest Call of Duty campaign of all time? No, the answer is no. It is an 8 out of 10. Maybe you give it a 7 out of 10. Maybe someone else gives it a 9 out of 10. Me, I'm satisfied with an 8 out of 10. I had a lot of fun with it. But he also used the word insane and crazy like 9 to almost a dozen times. And when he was implying crazy and insane, he was implying that we as Xbox community fans were crazy because we think that there's this quote unquote tax, which I hate calling it that. It's an inherent bias. Now, if you like the tax, bracket for it, that's fine. It's an inherent bias, right? And then he did a 3-hour show where he had live call-ins, and that's walking on a minefield, folks. I don't think he did himself any real service there either. But ultimately, it is what it is. He lost a lot of subscribers. I saw a lot of people talking on the socials that they've unsubbed him for it. It's unfortunate because for the most part, he has covered Xbox pretty well, at least in my opinion, especially during the ABK thing. I mean, he called Sony out more times than not. And I'm not here to sell you Destin Legary. He's a grown man with a family. He's going to sell you his brand. I'm going to sell you mine. I'm just saying, for me personally, he's not the devil, like some people are making him out to. But with that said, growing up, one of the things that my father taught me, even before I became a police officer, and I took that with me on the job, is reading the room. No matter where you were, he say, Craig, no matter where you were, even if it's familiar, read the room. So what do I mean by that? What do I mean by read the room? Well, Ryan McCaffrey, who I used to be a huge fan of, a tremendous fan of him. I used to listen to every Unlock, like a lot of you listen to this show. And I was one of those guys that, paid the $30 a year to keep the lights on over at IGN like a moron. And I did it for years. But I was a fan. And then obviously things changed at IGN, and well, I'm no longer a fan of IGN or Ryan McCaffrey for that matter. And that's fine. That's fine. He's not a terrible person. I just not a fan of his work. So he put out a tweet yesterday confirming for the Xbox community that Microsoft, in fact, was going to be there. So that's exciting, right? Oh, we know. Now, I'm going to, before I show you folks and show Hargeet what he said, if I worked for IGN and I was representing the Xbox community and I had gotten an email from Xbox, I don't really get those kind of emails. So what the hell do I know? But I know that if I, Mr. BoomStick XL, would have gotten one, oh my God, I would have went right to the social and said, holy cow, Xbox Nation, you're not going to believe it. After last year's absence at the Game Awards, Microsoft is coming in strong. They're coming in hot. I don't know what they're bringing, but they're going to be there. Let's get excited. That's how I would have done it. Well, that's not how Ryan McCaffrey did it. And we're going to get Hargeet's opinion responding to this live, but we're also going to get Kay Asante, who had some different things to say. I love when we have these different conversations. So let me do a present screen share so you fine folks can see what I am looking at. Okay, so let me share this. And well, here it is, Hargeet. And he says this, well then, this email I just got from Microsoft would seem to confirm that Xbox will have stuff to show at the Game Awards this year. And if that's where it ended, folks, it would have been great, right? People would have been cheering on Ryan McCaffrey. But in true fashion of this is where people are like, look, boom, there's the tax. Take it. This is what he wrote. You are grown men and women. You figure it out. Hargeet, you're reading it right there. This is what he says. This is the offhand backslap that I don't get. I don't get this. IGN is having a really bad time right now. Destin Legary is getting beat up pretty bad in the socials, which I don't think he deserves fully, but he earned some of that smoke. Let's be fair here. It's 50-50.
Yeah. He brought himself to the firing squad.
Yeah, he absolutely did. And like I said, the dismissiveness is not good. You can't call people crazy because we're seeing something. And I'm not talking about stuff from 9 years ago, which he kept talking about. It's stuff that's happening right now. And here's another example. This is what Ryan McCaffrey finishes this tweet off with, folks. I won't have to write another column about how baffled and annoyed I am of them not showing up at this event. And then he finishes it again with, so what will they show? Now, again, he does the emoji with the tongue sticking out and the wink of the eye. But it's just one of those things that it's Hargeet. This is why, and I'm not going to steal Kay Asante's answer because his answer is brilliant and it's simplistic, but it's the tip of the spear. So I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to go first to Hargeet on this. Dude, why does this continue to happen? Like this is what I'm talking about. This is why people get upset. This is why people call out this, quote unquote tax. I call it an inherent bias. It is. And Ryan, one of your guys on the panel with you is in the midst of a shitstorm, and you add to this. You're barely they're ready to put out the fire, and you're like, no, don't put it out. Here's some more gasoline.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. This is an Xbox guy through and through. And I know you may not like that, but he was at, was it Xbox, official Xbox magazine or something, whatever it was, and then
years ago,
moved over to IGN. He runs Podcast Unlocked, right? I don't know that I would totally like. Okay, he probably thinks of them as sort of his team, right? Just like we think we're so. On the royal.
He runs an Xbox podcast. I would imagine,
right? It's like the royal we of Xbox, right? We're certainly not Xbox, right? But we generally tend to think of it as we because, like, the royal we, it's our preferred.
Well, it's our team,
it's right? Yeah, so it's our preferred thing, right? You might be a Patriots fan. Sorry, guys. For everybody's on the New England side now, and for all the New York focus for the last couple of decades when we had Tom Brady, right? You might, but they're not me. I'm not Tom Brady, right? But we would say, hey, our team, right? But that's the way it is. So I'm taking it as that, right? He's very familiar with the Xbox team. He's interviewed like a lot of the execs at Xbox. He knows them, right? He's gonna be familiar with them. It'd be like Paris having a little jab of that kind of thing, right? Like, because he's been there, he's done a showcase for them, right? So he's been with them, he knows them, right? So I can kind of see it from that perspective, but I kind of have to agree with you, Boom. You have to also read the room. There are a lot of things coming. Like the last week or two has been Xbox tax. You do have to kind of take that into account, and if you're not seeing it, fair enough. They might be insulated from it, but really, you should kind of know that if you're the main largest Xbox podcast, according to them, right? That's a big deal. It's happening, right? So you kind of should be in tune with it. Obviously, one of their panel members, Destin, is listening and saying, hey, I'm going to engage with this, right? So it'd be very improbable for me to believe that Ryan doesn't know this is happening. So yeah, you do have to kind of, it's tongue in cheek. Literally, he has a tongue in cheek, like,
it is
emoji, right? But there is a little bit of a like, maybe this isn't the time to do that. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, though. I'm sure Ryan is very in tune with this is the Xbox side. This is and he suffered through all the years of crap of Xbox One.
I mean, we all did.
With us,
you know what I'm saying? Like
along with us.
Yeah, we all did.
Though the one baffling thing I'll say about Ryan is I don't understand his take on the Tomb Raider exclusivity. Mm-hmm. Microsoft saved that game, right? Street Fighter V wouldn't have happened if Sony didn't go in and pay them money to make that game happen. The same thing with Tomb Raider. They were not able to make the game. So Microsoft dumped $100 million to make that game, right? That, to me, that gives them, it affords them this, will have exclusivity. They only did it for 1 year. Where's Street Fighter V? Has that come to Xbox yet? No.
No, and it never will. So
tell me how that's a fair statement to make. Like, that didn't happen too far out, right? So Street Fighter V and Tomb Raider within a couple of years. So like, spare me that one really kind of baffles me. Is like, why would you say that? You're on the Xbox side, right? They did something good for us to counter a game that was coming out on the other side. I think that's a fair thing for them to do, spending $100 million to do it, right? Like, that one was, and I to be fair, he didn't know that they spent $100 million, right? But we found out later that's a substantial investment to get a 1 year exclusivity, right? So
it should have been a straight up exclusive forever with that kind of money.
I mean, that's right, and they should go buy Crystal Dynamics and Tomb Raider and just own it forever.
Something
that's a whole other story.
Aside, that's a conversation that we're going to be having soon, I think, because it's getting worse, and they just laid off a bunch of people from another studio.
They need rescue.
So
at Embracer and Crystal Dynamics. Yeah, so I know he wrote that column last time, and he was rather disappointed, and he's right. It was pretty bad for them. Like, was it? What's that? The party game? Was it Party Animals? What was the game that funds? I don't know. There was. I think that's it. Maybe. But the game that came out this year. That was the
Party
game
Animals,
they had.
yes.
was the only game they showcased at all at the Game Awards. And that shouldn't have been, and we know they had stuff, right? Because not a month later they had a showcase and they showed some pretty good things with a shadow drop of Hi-Fi Rush. So they could have easily shown Hi-Fi Rush or something like that, right? So they could have done that. They did not. They chose to hold all it, right? So fair enough. But yeah, so to at least this year they're acknowledging that, hey, they're going to do stuff, which is good. That's the topic, right? So we'll definitely get into it.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to give Ryan the benefit of the doubt here, and but he should have at least understood that maybe this wouldn't be the right time to have a tongue-in-cheek comment, and let's just stay above the fray right now. It takes away from the fun, I get it, but there is a little bit of a thing going on right now, right? And emotions are running high. This is why I don't like social media.
You know what, dude? You're not wrong for it. You're great at what you do when you're here. You're great at what you do when you're working with Dealer, and of course, you're working on a regular basis with Asa and Gaz. So you do a great job. So you honestly, you're not really missing anything in social media. I like it. I love the engagement with the people. I love talking, and I do a lot of like personal stuff behind the scenes with some people in the community, and I really quite enjoy doing that because I got my career cut short because of a back injury, and even though I had my time in, I probably would have stayed longer because I love being a police officer. So I get you. So you're doing the right thing, brother. Listen, we are gonna cover in depth, folks, what we expect from Xbox. And potentially, we're going to kind of have a half-hearted conversation. Is Sony going to show up? Is Sony going to show something? Because everyone has been waiting. There is supposedly another Sony showcase by the end of the year. I mean, at the end of the year, it starts in a month. It starts on Friday.
What is that coming?
I don't know, but this is what the insiders are saying. First of all, before we get to you, Kay Asante, let me shout out to people in the who dropped the super chat. First of all, our good brother, Gaming Forte, dude, we gotta have you back here. And listen, you're in the DM, dude. Anytime you want, you just show up. This is your house. This is your house, Gaming Forte. You show up anytime you want, stinky feet and all. It doesn't matter. Put those stinky feet up on the couch. It's fine. He doesn't have stinky feet, by the way. He drops a $2 super chat and says, "What's up, my homies? Miss doing the show with y'all. Yeah, we miss you, man. We miss your very pointed takes. And obviously, what you do with slow mo was fantastic, but we definitely miss you here." Big Mad Mo, who's been a channel member for 19 months. He says this: "Shout out to Boom, Keasante, Hargeet, and the entire chat. Can't wait to see what's coming. Hellblade 2 Combat. It's time to see what JoJo Dark is looking like." Yeah, that's another one. That's what's on. That's on the cover. And we have Rich Maharg, who drops not one but two $10 super chats. In the first one, he says chances on getting Eidos, Crystal, Don't Nod, and Supermassive. They could be had for under 100 million. Look, Rich, I personally, listen, I don't have connections in Microsoft or insiders, hit me up in the DMs. I just don't. I think let's take this from a pointed theory. Phil Spencer is very, very good friends with Lars, who is the owner of Embracer Group. They're very good friends. They've been friends for years. I would imagine that Xbox, or Microsoft specifically, is probably phone call number one from Lars for those two studios alone, because Crystal Dynamics is working on Perfect Dark and Eidos Montreal is working on Fable. So they're vested in these first party games. And the one thing that you do not want to see happen is what originally happened to the new old Killer Instinct developers, right? They did seasons 2 and 3. They went off to do some other things. We have no Killer Instinct. Now we just got the update, and then the studio is back. We know that I think they already own the studio personally. They just haven't announced it yet. But those Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal, I think, are a lock. I really, really do, because of what they're already vested in. Now, the other two studios, Dontnod and Supermassive, those would be huge gets, because Dontnod, I should say, just released a game that was exclusive to Xbox last year. So there's a lot to be thought about here. I think they're not saying anything this year because they just closed ABK. I would imagine that we're going to get some really powerful announcements next year in regards to studios, not so much publishers. And his second super chat of it's $15. Rich, thank you so much.
What if Boom they announce it at the Game Awards? What if that's one of the announcements? Is we're buying something,
dude? We you know what? Hold that thought, because that's brilliant, and that would be bombastic. Could you imagine? Oh, these 4 studios have joined us. Welcome, like in the Game Awards. I'm going to be honest with you. That would be a slap to the face.
Or what King David wants is Larian Studios, now owned by Microsoft, winner of Game of the Year, Baldur's Gate.
Dude, I would fall out of my chair live on the camera if that ever happened. Because they have the money. That's pretty ridiculous. Second super chat. He says this, folks. I know you haven't followed Supermassive anthology games, and they were moderately sold, but isn't it a huge mistake to put game 5 on 5? I guess 5 of the games only on VR.
Yeah, the fifth one.
The fifth
Switchback.
one is VR.
Yeah, Switchback is in VR. But and I hear him, but I saw that super chat and I was looking into it a little bit. They have a history of putting stuff on VR. They put stuff on PSVR 1. They put stuff on the Daydream. They have a history of kind of sprinkling some of their games in VR, and not just a VR version. They just make it for VR, and it's just there.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Listen, Gaming Forte, brother, if you're available, DM me immediately. We'll get you right in here if you want to join us, and even if it's for half an hour or something. Let's get you drop your bars, and then you can be out. Let me know. Hargeet, that was a great answer. We will come back to it because it's a big topic of the day. Hey, Asante, what you said something very interesting, and when we were talking this morning, and we were reading about the tweet, you're like, yeah, half in, half out, not really, whatever. But then you said something afterwards before in the green room that makes sense. Like, it honestly makes sense, but it's also. It makes so much sense that it's probably true. But if that in fact is true, and you're going to say that what it is in a second, it's also kind of insulting, because what you're doing is you're kind of spitting in the face of your fans that follow you because of something. Go ahead, break it down, man.
So, like, I saw this, and I know what he was doing. I took it for what it was. He's trying to be tongue in cheek. He's trying to make a little kind of wink, wink, nudge, nudge, ribbing kind of jokey thing. But as you've said, Boom, honestly, and let's keep it a buck, as they say. This does not raise to the level of hair raising. This does not rise to the level of even moderate annoyance. It's just unfortunate, right? Because, like you guys have said, he can have his own personal account. He can have all of that. But you are Ryan McCaffrey. You are the probably short of Dan and a few other folks. He's the senior guy there. Most of the others have either come and gone. He has risen through the ranks. He's been there the longest. When he speaks, he represents IGN, whether he likes it or doesn't. It's just the fact of it, right? And as Hargeet and you have mentioned, we're in an environment now where, whether you believe it or not, whether you lend credence to it or not, IGN is kind of under fire right now, and most of their PR machine is being scrutinized. Oh, too much Xbox, not enough Xbox, too much PlayStation, right? Whether you fall on one side or another, that's not the point. The point is they just keep falling into it, right? They just keep slipping into it, right? What do big companies do? Whether or not you did it or you didn't, the moment there's even an appearance of going too far. What do these companies do? They overcorrect. You hear people, oh, I'm recusing myself, or oh, the company is going to go extra, extra in the opposite direction just to show your consumer, because you are a big representative of that space, right? Show the consumer that they can have faith and trust in the process and in you and your organization, because hey, we're here literally trying to be, call it balls and strikes, as it were, right? So with that context, this is just in poor taste. It's almost like there's two ways of looking at it. Either he didn't read the room, but he's smart. So the only other thing that I think is going on here is, if he had said everything he said right up to, oh, Xbox will have stuff to show on at the Game Awards this year, and that's it, as Boom was saying, everybody would have went, oh, this is amazing, this is great, oh yeah, awesome, and that's it. And we will move on, and we will wait, and some may speculate as to what they release, and that would have been that, right? But what happened? He put a little bit of that backhanded compliment. I call that the Metro UK special. Oh, this game is great. Too bad it's on a shitty platform. He put a little bit of that Stankonia in it, and what happened? We're talking about it. Other people are talking about it. It's going to be talked about over and over and over again. They're gonna point to this tweet and go, see how terrible it is, and all the while, mission is accomplished. Engagement, clicks, right? Which is craven and disappointing, because look, it is what it is, right? You expect more, and I'm with you, Hargeet. I believe Ryan is an Xbox guy through and through. He has shown his receipts many a times. The man has earned it, right? But that's the reason why we're like scratching our heads here, right? This is expected from your Paul Tassies or whatever, but from Ryan, like, it just seems a little bit. It seems a little in poor taste, specifically for Ryan McCaffrey. He usually, like you said, he has some bad takes, but when he has those bad takes, he believes those takes. He does it like he's earnest with his takes, good or bad. This seems like, oh, I'm going to rile up the base. Let's see what I can do. And that's a little unfortunate. That's what it seems. It seems like it's all just for the purpose of getting people to engage, whether positively or negatively, but engage. And obviously it's working, because we're engaging and a lot of other people are engaging as well. It is kind of unfortunate, right?
I think ultimately it's really, for me, like I said,
Yeah.
I don't follow his stuff anymore. I just don't. I haven't watched Unlocked in years. I stopped supporting IGN years ago, because IGN is this is kind of why. They do have they have a couple of journalists that I'm no names here, because we don't have to do that. That I find to be in very poor taste as being community members, and they wear it on their sleeves, and it's sickening. And
it
then
seems
again,
to be
the
history, right?
Yeah,
it's the history. All of our heroes are the people who are being pushed into that position of power. The people who are being pushed in hey, this is the voice we speak, who speaks, and most of us will listen, or it represents gaming or whatever. They start turning into Jon Snow, one-man band against the Horde. Like, stop it. You know what I mean? As you guys were talking about the Destin stuff that you were discussing earlier, again, I believe, whether you believe it, that he's right or he's being disingenuous, they are not the ones to have this conversation. They are not the ones that should be bringing themselves to the firing squad. No one trying to come, no one shooting at you. You're literally like moving yourself in front of the bullet. Why? and when you move yourself in front of the bullet, you don't have the shield of truth with you. You're just like, trust me, bro. I'm telling you, it's not true. How do I know? Trust me, bro. It's not enough. Right? And in this instance, the same thing, right? There are many of them who, whether you're part of an organization that people trust or don't trust or whatever, there are many personalities within those organizations that have earned their place. I think, again, Ryan has earned his place. I used to listen to his Tesla podcast. I'm a big fan of his work. I've been a fan for many years, right? So I will never be the one to be like, oh yeah, that guy turned heel. But these are questions that must be asked, because yeah, this specific one is in poor taste. Whatever. But come on now, to continue to tell people that what they're seeing is lying, right? To continue to gaslight folks and then kind of, do a little bit of that dig, a little bit of that jab. You're basically making sure the pitchforks never go away. Like, why are you doing that? It's a small joke.
We got some breaking news here. Breaking news, folks. Okay, so let me get to it. First of all, shout out to the android / human being known as Idle Sloth. That dude is always working.
Remnant 2, is that what you're talking about?
What's that?
Remnant 2?
Yeah, Remnant 2, 1 and 2 just dropped into Game Pass tonight.
Remnant 2 as well?
I'm downloading it right now. Yep.
Yes.
Part 2 as well? Wow.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
I'm downloading it right now. It's a part of Game Pass.
Shadow Drop.
That's excellent.
Remnant 1 and 2. Remnant from the Ashes and Remnant 2 just dropped. Now available in Xbox Game Pass, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news. Courtesy.
Pro tip, if you haven't played it, if you haven't played the series before, start on VR because that was the first one. Wow. There's a flat version. There's a VR version of the
Jax
game.
82. Jax 82. Awesome. Unfortunately, he pulled an Everborn. He says, "Seriously, I just bought it."
Thank you, Jax. You did that for the rest of us. We appreciate you, sir.
Infinite Number, who's in the chat, says Ryan's problem is that his
hypocrisy. Yeah,
hypocrisy. Though. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Psychonauts is in the chat. Welcome. Yeah, we have we have 617 people here, ladies and gentlemen. That is amazing. And like I said, I'll say it live on the air again. John Wolf, I know you're listening because you're in the chat. Check your DM if you want to jump in and give us some of that Latino heat. And of course, if what
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I gotta say it.
The Latino
Black Ronan, shut your mouth, man. He's telling me nobody cares about VR. Stop it. I will be Jon Snow against the masses on that one.
I like VR. I don't like the way Sony's done it. I'm probably gonna get a Quest 3 is what I'm gonna ultimately do. And Gaming Forte, brother, if you're there and you want to join us, Gaming Forte, check your DM, dude.
Join us. Pro, right?
No, this is just Quest 3 with a.
Oh, you have the Quest 3, okay.
Yeah, I got the Quest 2. I quite enjoyed it. I enjoyed all the Star Wars stuff. I mean, I my favorite thing is Beat Saber. I know a big deal, big casual game, but I quite enjoy it. Listen, real quick, Leonard Herrera in the chat drops a very generous $5 super chat, and he says, so grateful for Hargeet, Asante, and Mr. BoomStick XL. Great panel, brother. Thank you for the compliment, and of course, thank you for the generosity. Render drops a very generous he dropped $2 super chat, and he says Remnant 2 just dropped into Xbox Game Pass. That's pretty dope, man. That's a pretty, I mean, again,
and without fanfare, that's kind of crazy. That's a big game. That's on some people's list as game of the year. Like talk to Slow Mo Backslap. He'll tell you that is on his short list, and that's in Game Pass just like that. That's interesting.
This is the Embracer I guess support process, right? That's an Embracer game, right?
That's a dude. It is an Embracer game.
The rescue.
So what you're saying, Hargeet, is every time you see an Embracer game on Game Pass, somewhere Lars is going, okay, that's 6 more months. All right, let's see what's going on.
I would. Yes, I think that's really it.
Literally,
like, how do I get some cash? Like, what do I do to get cash?
And real quick, Hargeet, I know you guys were talking about the store, the people closing, and Boom was also talking about how they're closing various studios and they should potentially get them. You notice how they closed the studio with a game they were making. But the studios that are making Xbox games, they're still very much staffed and alive and strong, and you've heard nothing wrong about them, right?
Yeah.
They're cutting from their own stone. They're bleeding from their own stone in order to save the ones that are working on Xbox games, right? Yeah. That's why Free Radicals is gone. That's why you don't see what's the name of the game? That's why the game they were remaking. I forget the name of it right now. It escapes me. They're talking about potentially closing the studio by Christmas, and the game hasn't even come out yet.
You talk about for Embracer. Holy crap! I just read that story the other day. Yes. Right?
They are ready to close studios that their own games that they're funding. They can't make it happen, so they're ready to close them without ever releasing the game. But the Xbox, the ones that are Xbox, the studios that they own that Xbox is working with, Yeah, those are beyond reproach. No one's talking about
Well,
anybody
because they are
removing
under
jobs
contract, right? And they
because
actually
they're
get money,
funded.
which is good. Yeah, exactly.
They are funded. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is the time for them to strike if that's going to, be a rescue plan for them, right? This is great, right? So, but it is a potential. They're not going to be able to get all of them, obviously, right? But they can get something, right? And then just give them money. And this is why the 100 million. I don't think it's going to be 100 million. I think it'll
All
be a
we
lot
need is
more than
Crystal.
that.
It would be. Yeah. I don't know how much. It would.
It wouldn't surprise me if
if
it's in the $500 million to $1 billion range. I think they're going to want some big cash, right? Because
Yeah,
they lost $2 billion, right? Remember, they lost $2 billion contract, right?
Right.
They're going to want to substantially get some of that back, right? So that they can continue their operations.
Well, they could do,
It's gonna
they
be
could
something
do a
like that.
bundle package. You know, you add the Tomb Raider, you add a couple of studios in there, like those two plus what the super chat said, Supermassive
Don't
being one of
Nod or
them.
something like that. Yep,
Yeah.
Supermassive.
So I
you
mean,
get some of those.
and
by the way,
it's just
for those who,
you know,
for those who might be worried that they're dropping Bitcoin and they're gonna have to go in front of regulators again, they don't all have to do it in cash, right? It doesn't all have to be here's a $1 billion transaction. It could be a $600 million transaction with some other perks on the side.
Yeah.
Or
anything over 100 million is going to go to regulators anyways.
It will, but yes,
in the grand scheme of things, this is more of a rescue package than it is anything else. And so regulators are going to also take into account, hey, there's going to be hundreds, if not thousands, of people losing their jobs right now. So, and this is not a big transaction. This is really them rescuing them.
Not in the grand scheme.
Yeah. So, and by the way, the world premieres thing. Sorry, Judge. Just one second. The world premieres thing, I think, is because at least I was noticing they were calling things world premieres when I'm like, I've already seen the trailer for this before. So I think, and he's kind of recognized that like they were calling things world premieres that weren't really world premieres.
He was doing that. He was doing that indie game thing to world premieres.
Yeah,
it's just a term. It's a dubious term.
So I think they just said, let's just skip that. Let's not do that piece.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. Absolutely. Listen, I'm here. I'm there for it. It's always our big like those breakfast with booms are always huge. We usually get 1,000 people in there because we're all excited for what they were showing. Being the Xbox is going to be there in a big way. It should be just another big show. I'm very excited for it. But before we move on to what is going to be there, Latino Heats.
What's going on, Boom?
What's going on, brother? How you feeling?
Good. What's up, Kay? We spoke a little bit earlier today. Hargeet, always good to see you, man. Sorry that my audio is a little off. I'm literally on my way home, so you called. You called, brother, and I wanted just to come on and drop my bars with this whole Xbox tax thing going on. And all
let's first of all, folks, again, pardon the audio. He's on the way home, so we're gonna get him for a few minutes. Forte is just walked into the house, so he's gonna see if he can jump in as well. So it would be awesome to get him in. But listen, before we obviously you're here, so we want to get your take on it, John. You actually put out a couple of tweets regarding the Ryan McCaffrey half-hearted slap, if you will. Both Hargeet and Kay Asante had really, really good pointed views. And we're not attacking Ryan, right?
Not at all.
We're not attacking, but
that's not what this is about. That's not what this is about. This is about, and this is the reason why I've been so vocal and so obnoxious when it comes to this Xbox tax thing. It's because I'm the type of person, and Kay knows me already. We've been doing a show for a bit already. I'm the type of person, Boom, and of course you know me. I just like to call things for what they are. Okay, I'm a straight shooter, and when I see BS, I need to call it out. And this whole the way that Xbox is portrayed on social media with the vocal minority, which is a loud one, and the media in general. Okay, not everybody in the media. Never good to generalize anybody, but the big conglomerates, especially like IGN and the Metros of the world and the PC gamers of the world, shame on them. They should know better, and they should be better because they are technically the voice of the gamers. They are the representatives, right, of what gaming is supposed to be because they're in the media or whatever the case may be. It is what it is, right? They've been given that title to such an extent that they actually get the vote for the game awards that we're gonna watch later this month. Okay, so when I see things like I'm seeing, and then I see people like, and shout out to him. He's a great guy. He's always been positive towards the Xbox brand. But when I see Destin, Paul Tassi basically tell people like me, hey, you know all those slick remarks like the ones that Ryan put on Twitter? You're reading too much into it. You're too sensitive. You know, there's nothing to see here. When you see IGN has tweeted out that Starfield got a 7 out of 10 40 times in the same month, over and over again, and that Elder Scrolls is not coming to PlayStation over and over again, and that, you know, and that they needed to give Hi-Fi Rush, Metro needed to lower the score because Xbox was so bad for so long that they just can't do it. They can't find it in their hearts to give it the proper due because it's just, it wouldn't be right of them. When I see all that and you want to tell me in my face that there is not this bias, that there is not this unfair nature of you looking at a brand, I'm going to laugh right in your face, and you're basically trying to call me stupid right in my face. All right? And that's where I have a problem. I actually respect fanboys, like the extreme fanboys that we see that come out and straight up tell you in your face, I don't like Xbox because they're crap. I respect that more and their take more than I do this gaslighting type of BS that I see on a regular basis. And that's why I've been so vocal, and that's why I've been so obnoxious like I've been, which is completely out of character for me, but I've had enough of it. And I think that a lot of people have had enough of it, right? So Destin called me out on Saturday during the show, or Friday or Saturday, I don't remember what day it was. During his show, he said, oh, John Wolf, let me read your comments if you want to call in. I'm like, you know what? Let me call in so I can talk to him. Now, I like having conversations. I am like you guys. I don't think that Destin is a bad guy. I don't think that Destin was coming into that conversation with a disingenuous take or anything like that. Was he dismissive? I didn't really listen to the comments prior to me getting on the call. So I didn't hear like him saying that everybody's crazy for thinking this or whatever. I didn't hear that. Now, in his conversation, I gave him questions that I put him in a compromised spot because he just can't answer. For example, I asked him why IGN tweeted over 40 times during the month what that Starfield is 7 out of 10. Why? When they do that for any other game. There's no other game that they've ever done that to where they consistently just throw it in your face that a game got a 7 out of 10, right? It's kind of like if they're mocking the game, right? So he couldn't answer it. He had to just bite his tongue and say, well, that's another department. I get it.
Yeah,
and it's true.
I heard that. Yeah.
I get it. And it's true what you guys are saying. He's not the one, and others that have tried to have this conversation that are closer to the media. They're just in a compromised state that they shouldn't be having this conversation. But I commend them for at least engaging with the audience somewhat and at least trying to have that dialogue. But where I think that they're messing up is that they're entering the conversation not with an empathetic approach. They're entering it with a I'm gonna prove you wrong approach. And when you do that, you're gonna lose every single time. And that's what I think the problem is here, right? So with the whole Ryan McCaffrey tweet, and you saw that I sent it to you, Boom, on our DM. Why does Ryan McCaffrey have a need to tweet? You're an Xbox guy. Shouldn't you be excited that they're going to be at the Game Awards? You know, why do you need to throw a backhanded comment? Can you imagine, Boom, if I were to send you a picture and I had lost, hopefully I can do this, and I had lost 30 or 40 pounds, you know, gained muscle, and you write back to me and you tell me, John, I'm so glad that you lost weight because you were fat as shit and you were probably going to die. Really? Like, okay, thanks, Boom. I appreciate it. I thought we were boys, but thanks for being brutally honest. You know, I guess, you know, you just ran me over with the car. You know, I thought you cared about me, dude. What's going on here? And that's basically what he does every single time. Every single time that there's something about Xbox is like, hey, I'm glad that Xbox is embracing this, but man, do they suck at this. Or Xbox did good here, but man, they are really shitty here. dude, it gets exhausting, and it's like, hey, Ryan, for once in your life, dude, just it's okay to be a fan of Xbox. No, what is it? Is it Dan? Is he gonna hit you when you go into the office? Are you gonna be punished? Are you gonna be thrown in the dungeon? That's what it seems like, Boom. And I know I'm being a little loud and obnoxious or whatever, but it's very, very annoying, brother. And that's the reason why, like, this whole thing has blown up to a point that, in my opinion, there's no going back, guys. It's out in the open. It's out in the bag. People are sick of it. And to be honest with you, it's just picking up momentum more and more. And the more that people try to squish it, the louder it's gonna get. This is a fire that's already like out there, and it has spread like wildfire. So what I hope now, let's focus on the positive here, right? What I'm hoping to accomplish here is that I really do hope, and I might be just an optimistic person. I'm hoping for the best here. I hope that Destin takes what happened on Saturday and he takes it back to his superiors and his people, and he says, hey guys, look, this is a problem here. Like we have a large group of gamers here that can be potential readers and engage with our content, and they're not because they feel this. And maybe, just maybe, if there is no marketing dollars being paid by Sony, maybe they won't tweet out that Starfield got a 7 out of 10 40 times. Maybe they'll reduce it to 10. Maybe they'll reduce it to 15. But at least something will come out of this because we have spoken up. And that's
stuff.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's good stuff, brother. We appreciate you popping in here. Listen, those are some major bars. The chat's cheering you on because they were. I mean, you're talking passion, you're talking with gusto, and that's because you care. And I know a lot of the journalists, keep telling us, why should you care if someone is, talking bad about your platform? Because actually, C Money made a great point, and I agree with him. Yeah, the other day on the Xbox Factor podcast, where we're all not part of Microsoft, guys and gals. We kind of know that, right? But when we say we, and Hargeet was saying it, our team is Xbox, right? That's who we root for. So when we see disingenuous takes, right, you get mad. It's the same way you would be reading a newspaper in your town that's talking about your favorite team, and you're like, man, I don't believe this is BS. But that's what being a fan is. It doesn't make you a nerd. It doesn't make you ignorant to what is actually going on. You are a fan. So when someone does something disrespectful to your team, and our team is Xbox, we want to say something. And unfortunately, what happened and what has been happening is that being down on Xbox, and Kay Asante said it, is engagement. And I think one of the most, listen, I get it. It's a business. They have to pay their employees. They have to pay the insurances. They have to pay the rent in IGN. We know they're in California or in the West Coast. It's super expensive over there. I get all of that. But it's very disappointing when these disingenuous takes are done knowing that you're only doing it for the clicks and the engagement. And that's logistically spitting in the face of the people that actually read the work that you do. Like, you don't care about us. You don't care about they don't care about me at all, because I don't care about IGN. But I'm saying that the people that actually, take the time out of their day to click on an article and read it, or tune into Unlocked or the PlayStation show or the Nintendo show, you are ultimately saying that you're worthless, and we only care about your rage clicks. And that's very unfortunate. It just is. And again, I started out by saying this is one of those instances where you got to learn to read the room. Right now, IGN is not doing really well in the face of the public. They continue to pour gasoline on the fire instead of trying to put it out. And it started with Destin, and a pretty poor take, on a very dismissive one at that. And then, of course, give him credit. He put himself in front of this firing squad. And every time you do anything live, especially live call-ins, you're gonna potentially get it. But let's welcome in one of the founding members, ladies and gentlemen. I love this man. And I'll say it live on the air. I love this man right here. He helped me launch Primetime Gaming freaking years ago. And look, we're still here. Here he is,
sir.
Gaming Forte, my brother from another. What's going on, dude? How you feeling?
What's going on, guys, man? Every time I tune into the show, I'm like, man, it's come a long way. And it's still doing great. PTG, baby. Hey man, this is the platform that you built. And I told you this when we first started this show years and years ago. That this was going to be amazing and you were going to do a great job with it.
Thank you, sir.
Definitely haven't let anyone down in that front, man. So keep doing what you're doing, as I always tell you. But yeah, finally, I was just sitting there and I was like, he sent me an invite. I was like, oh man, I haven't been in here a while. I guess I'll jump in.
Yeah, man. Welcome home, brother. That's what I'm talking about.
Unfortunately, I'm gonna hot tag you in, brother, because I gotta go. Boom. Thank you for allowing me to come on and just speak from the heart, brother. Thank you so much, Kay. We'll talk, brother. We got a show coming up soon, and Hardeen, always good. Boom. Thank you, Forte. You're the man.
All right, brother.
You're the man.
So, Gaming Forte, you obviously do a show each and every week with Slow Mo. It's an amazing show. It's called the DPS podcast, Damage per Second podcast. You guys have been doing it for years. It continues to get better and better. You obviously have always kept your ear to the floor. You're a community guy. We know that. And obviously the hot topic has been the Xbox tax. I hate calling it that. I like calling it for what it actually is, and that is an inherent bias. And there is one out there. Ryan McCaffrey did what he's kind of been doing. He's kind of stepped in it, and it comes off the heels of the shenanigans with Destin Legary. Like I said, I still like Destin. I consider Destin an Xbox guy. He's represented the brand way more than he's insulted it. He's a man. I don't have to defend him, but I'm going to tell you my take. My take is that during the ABK trial, he had some really amazing coverage, and I super appreciated what he did. We go back to the tweet now. I don't know. Did you see the tweet from Ryan McCaffrey regarding the Game Awards?
Oh yeah, I did.
Okay, so I mean that's what we're kind of talking about. I mean, it's not the worst thing Ryan could say, but Kay Asante explained it really well about why can't you just say this without the half-hearted insult on the back end. See, that's what's a little disappointing. And his take was it's for engagement, and if that is all it's for, well, then that just proves once again that they don't really care about their fans that actually click on it because they want to hear what they have to say. They're going for these rage click scenarios, and it's disappointing.
Nah, man, that ever since X, formerly known as Twitter, made it so you could actually get paid for your engagement, that's when I stopped really listening to what a lot of people or pundits inside of like actual media says, because 90% of it, they have their ear to the ground on a lot of that stuff. But then when you see like you said with Ryan, like the but it sounds like you're kind of throwing an anvil at a situation that don't need an anvil thrown at it just because you want to like boost up your engagement side of it. That's when I kind of just disengage with it. So it was like, so that's been going on honestly for like the last 4 or 5 months. There's been instances where a lot of people have done this. You see not only just pundits in media, but even people that are a fan of a particular platform. It's like you almost when trolling it's like trolling now has become something that people get paid for. Yeah. And that's what they're doing now. And I get it. And there's some people out there that I just respect because I know that's who they are. But it's a completely different thing when you put yourself out there as this mantle for people to listen to and people to like, say like, oh yeah, I really like his takes and I really like this, but then you go completely against the grain because you want to get, like you said, quote unquote engagement. We know what that does to people because we've seen it happen to people in our own community. People that jumped shark and went to one platform, came back and then thought they was actually going to pick up where they left off at. What kind of happened to those people? They're still scratching to be relevant at this point. So that's just, that's kind of where the situation goes and stuff. But, ultimately, I like people being who they are, but when you try to like make more of a situation than it actually is by just farming for engagement for people that really don't matter for on these platforms, that's where I kind of take a like hard stop at like listening to them.
Yeah, it is. It's disappointing. And again, just like I said, if you don't like it, don't click on it. I don't.
Right.
I get a lot of my stuff from sites like VGC that I really do like. I like what Andy Robinson and the team do over there on a daily basis. I mean, Andy's had some pretty bad takes, but something to be fair to Andy, and he doesn't know who the hell I am, but that's fine. We've all had bad takes, right? We've all had bad takes. I have had bad takes. And you know what you do? You look at it and you're like, man, that was a bad take. And you put yourself out there and you're like, well, I'll throw myself on the sword because I know I did wrong. And Andy did that, and that's why I continue to read VGC, because I really do like what they do over there. Their writers pretty fantastic in my opinion. As for IGN, well, they the old saying, you can't spell IGN without ignorant, or you can't spell ignorant without IGN. So there you go.
Well, that's because they're losing all their people to shows and panels like this.
There's more engagement with this stuff nowadays, right?
Yeah, I mean think about it. Think about it. It's like when you sit, it's like as content creators, we were fighting to get the views and the approval of the people that, followed us and stuff. Why can't we be the source of this type of information? Because we're the ones that's actually knee deep playing like all of these different games, having these different conversations with people in our community. We're not just talking to the developers and stuff. We're talking to other gamers. So we kind of know exactly what the gaming side of it feels like. And then once we started getting the ear of developers and developers coming on our shows and talking to us about their products and stuff, it kind of started flipping that narrative. So now they're the ones trying to catch up with us, because guess what? Yes, those are big entities. Those are huge entities. But guess what? There's more of us than there are of them. So now we're writing the narrative that they're trying to keep up with, but they have to do things like you're saying, backhanded compliments. They have to find ways to get people to click on their. I can't even remember the last time I clicked on an IGN article, literally. And I used to live on IGN when I grew up. That was like I used to look forward to their articles, their different podcasts and everything. And I can't remember the last time I actually went to their website to click on anything.
For good reason. Yeah, for good reason. So, but listen, Hargy, jump in.
I haven't really chimed too much into this whole thing. It's blown up way too much. First thing I would say is, yes, people get emotional. It's okay to be a little bit emotional, but let's not go too far. Take a deep breath.
Absolutely,
this isn't the end of the world. Like I was listening a little bit yesterday, and things got way out of hand. And it's like, okay, calm down. We're not Microsoft. That's true. And also, we don't need to bring our blood pressure up. We're not running that company. We need to think about this more as fans. We can voice our opinions. Destin has every right to voice his opinion. We're also attacking his work. Let's just be fair, right? We're attacking his work. Yeah. People are usually defensive when you attack them.
Absolutely.
Right? And if we're going to be negative towards them, it's going to make it worse, right? So as long as we're, going with the carrot and not the stick, we have a chance to at least bring attention to it. And I think some people did do that. I have not listened to the whole thing. I will pay it, try to watch what Destin did, the live stream, and try to see what happened and what people said.
It was 3 hours long. It's actually quite interesting. You know what I'd like you to watch. Mav from Front Speculation did a live stream, which was Hargeet. I actually say watch that before you actually watch the Destin, because it was freaking phenomenal. I think he did like a 3-hour stream, and what he did, and again, Mav has skills for days. Like the guy could talk forever, but he also did it. And I tried to do it. I just don't have those skills. He was watching the video, the first video, and he would stop it and he would break it down and continue it. And then break it down, and then he rolled into the stream. It was really, really good, dude. Like, it's a super good listen.
So some of the things that people took as like, look, Destin's trying to say there's no tax, and I'll define what the tax is. Okay, like there is a need to make money. I get that, and right now, if you look at the mass media, they sort of veer towards the PlayStation side. Why?
Right.
Because most of their audience is PlayStation players, right? That might be shifting. We'll talk about that in a second. But If that's the case, they need to put out content that resonates with that side so that they keep getting the engagement. So you tend to have more negative stuff for Xbox that gets amplified versus PlayStation. Now, we can all agree that PlayStation this year had a horrible year. It was a disastrous year, right? With a couple of good things, but a lot of negative things, right? And it was plastered all throughout the year. But you don't see it. If you're going to look at the mass media, you're still going to see PlayStation with a lot of positives with a couple of negatives. Whereas if you look at the Xbox side, you get a lot of negatives with a few positives. The problem that happens with that, it's good for the engagement. It's 100% good for their engagement. But as a gamer that doesn't know this goes in and says, hey, what should I choose? They type in Xbox and see negative, 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 positive, positive, negative, 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 positive, positive. And then say PlayStation, say positive, 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 negative, positive, positive. But you just go towards the side that's positive, right? And that's the tax, right? That's the tax. Because eventually that means that Xbox doesn't get the engagement versus PlayStation, right? Now, this is about to change. There's just no way around it. Once
100%.
ABK was acquired, you can't now say that, right? You've taken Xbox Call of Duty, Xbox World of Warcraft, Xbox Candy Crush, Xbox Diablo, just on and on. And these are very large engagement games. They're going to be at hundreds of millions of players that are going to try to see the mass media. And if they're going to attack the side that they're on, because now they are there, they're still there, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to start seeing disengagement. So they're going to have to reckon with this. On top of that, PlayStation has decided to change their formula and go to games as a service, live games. Is that going to keep up with what they've been doing? Will the gamers be there or not? That engagement is likely to shift over the next 5 to 10 years. Yeah. And so the media is just going to have to adapt with it, right? And we always forget, but Nintendo is coming out with a console that's going to play everything.
Yes.
That might shift things too, right? And once that happens, you start to see that the media has to care about the gamer for Xbox, the gamer for Nintendo a bit more than they do today, right? So that's just going to work itself out.
Can I push something back? Can I challenge one aspect of your hypothesis for a moment? And I completely want you to dismantle it, but I just want to put this out there, right? Mm-hmm. You're saying your hypothesis is the reason why that it is so lopsided as far as coverage is because it's lucrative for them. I don't disagree with that.
It is,
right?
Yeah.
And you're saying that once it becomes less lucrative for them and it becomes more lucrative for them to have positive feedback for Xbox, they'll have no choice
or
but to
even.
Or even. Yeah.
Or at least even. Yeah.
But my pushback on that is this. I think, although I agree with you that that'll happen, I think it will take a long time for that to happen because a lot of those people who we're talking about, if they didn't have a job reviewing games, they'd still be PlayStation mains. So you're going to have to get rid of them or hire people who aren't PlayStation mains to get this attention. Now, give me one second here. Go one second, real quick. The reason I say this is, right, and I've been saying this to Boom, and I think myself and everyone has talked about it a little bit. It doesn't matter what game you choose. We'll talk any game. While you were talking, I was like, yeah, let me put this into hypothesis, right? Went online and just said, give me 2023's biggest games, right? But only multiplats, games that are everywhere, right? And I searched Alan Wake 2, I searched Assassin's Creed Mirage, and I searched Phantom Liberty, just as a sample size, right? Yeah. I don't care what their reviews were on Metacritic. I really don't.
Well, that's not really a part of your theory, right?
Yes. Yep. I care how many people reviewed them and where. And that speaks volumes, right? Really quickly, Alan Wake 2, really big game, might win game of the year, right? 14 reviews on Xbox. Oh, by the way, it plays better on Xbox than PlayStation. Guess what? 69 reviews on PlayStation. Yep. 50 on PC, where it plays best. 50 compared to 69 for PlayStation, right? Assassin's Creed, 99 for PlayStation, 33 for Xbox, 26
literally a third.
PC.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk, which had marketing on Xbox, PC got 57. PS5 got 50 because everybody heard that it runs well on PC. Guess what Xbox got? Who has the marketing? 16%. 16. 1-6.
Wow.
16 of the entire reviewing public reviewed that game. So if everyone, if you take 10 people out of 10 journalists in a room, and 7 of them will always go for the DualSense, how can you ever expect any of this to change?
So it's an interesting point, but here's the thing. Ultimately, it comes down to getting a paycheck. So you can have all the proclivities you want, but all of us have said, okay, well, the company wants to go this direction. That wasn't what I want to do. It is what it is. I'm going to just do what they want. Right. Because I like my paycheck. So it's going to come down to that. The organizations that they work for are going to be like, my bread is buttered by those guys. We're going to write positive articles for them. I don't care what you want. Right. So that's how it's going to end up happening. Right. It's more about that. It may not be positive. All the nitpicks, by the way, are fair game. It's good to nitpick. Just nitpick on both sides. Right.
Yeah,
as long as you're nitpicking the other side too.
Absolutely.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So
I wonder how big I wonder how big the Xbox side of it really is when it comes to going to their articles or seeing all of these different things they're talking, because the fact that they came out and said something about it and it was being talked about means that there was a groundswell of enough people to make that happen. So that it kind of, I always kind of go back to thinking like, yes, PlayStation has a bigger fan base. They have more people that play their games. There's more people that review and like their games and stuff. So that's kind of how it falls. Compared to like Xbox, a lot more people kind of, they know that they'll get more negative. They'll get more people watching their negative Xbox content than they will positive. So they skew that way because they know that for some reason, we know that if Xbox people aren't going to watch our content unless we say something that completely and utterly gets on their nerves. So we're going to skew that way. Whereas PlayStation, there's so many PlayStation gamers that watch reviews and stuff that are not even a part of this community. And they're the same way for Xbox, but there's just way more PlayStation people. I wonder how big that community really is that really just disdains the way that they cover the things that they cover for IGN or just any of these publications that make them feel like being on the negative side of these conversations is that lucrative for them, because it must be for them to keep doing it and for them to actually come out and talk about it. And, you know, Ryan McCaffrey and Dustin DeGary Dustin literally did like you said, did a 3-hour podcast or
a call-in
show about it. So that just lets you know that there's kind of something there and they know it's there, but they're also, like you said, they're taking advantage of the situation because they know that we're going to engage with them in that aspect compared to nobody really cares about negative PlayStation news. Not like that. Guess what? Who does care about the negative PlayStation news? A lot of Xbox gamers.
I mean, Forte, think about it this way. What happened with Hi-Fi Rush? It won Mad Awards, or it's nominated for Mad Awards. People said, "Oh, it's great," and then moved on to Starfield.
It moved on
for the next 3 days, right? Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
To your point, Forte, there is so we are saying a lot of people. I'm not doing this, but are disengaging with IGN. No, the thing you need to do is engage, and I know you don't want to, but the thing is, if you don't engage with the people that you're having issues with, you just create a schism. Right. And you don't get to the point of saying, hey, we can bridge this divide. I don't think you should behave like, so if you see an article and you just go in and comment, like, I don't think you should say it this way. This seems very negative. This is what I feel about it. And they will see those comments, right? If you just disengage, right, then all they're ever going to hear is the PlayStation side. I think you need to engage and keep engaging and keep pushing to say, hey, no, this ain't enough. This isn't good enough, right? Like that switch over only happens if we're there saying you can't do this to us, right? So, hey, I'm a Call of Duty fan. Don't tell me it's a 4 out of 10. I think, like Boom, you said, hey, it's an 8 out of 10 to me. I'm not sure why you think this is a 4 out of 10. Here's why I think, here are the bullet points I have, right?
What you're describing right there, that is the big reason why anytime anybody goes, oh, this Game Award stuff or whatever other negative stuff going around, if you don't like it, just disengage. I'm like, then what you're telling them to do is get out of gaming. Get out of the gaming discourse, because all that will continue to be there is that thing you don't like, because you're never there to influence change.
Yep, exactly. And now look, I haven't listened to the whole thing, but I'm hoping what happens, like in general, when we work, I represent a group to the business represents their needs to me, right? I'm going to say this is what we do, and they're going to come back, well, but we want it this way. I'm like, no, but this is what we do, right? And so that's what Destin was doing. This is what I represent. This is how we do things. But in the end, when I'm going back to my group, I say, well, you know, but the business wants this. Is there any way we can like bend our stuff and make that happen, right? Because I'm representing the business to the group. The group is being represented to the business, right? He's probably going to take this stuff back and say, well, you know what? There were a couple of things they said that really did kind of like hit me. And
he did a positive Starfield thing like today, as a matter of fact.
Right. And so, you know, some of it might actually take. And now this guy does know, Destin knows a lot of the industry, right? The media industry.
He's been around for years. Yeah, he does have.
He could bring it up at IGN. He could also bring it up with other people that he works with, like to say, you know, hey, you know, when you said this, I'm just saying, like, people push back on this. Perhaps it's something you should look at, right? Little things like that might actually make a little bit of a difference, right? So I think the engagement is good. I think him coming out and doing that is props to him for doing it, taking the hit. Fair enough. I wish others would do the same, but they don't. Like, fine, at least one person is. And I'm hoping he takes that and gives feedback back to the other side to say,
but that goes,
hey, maybe we didn't mess up here.
And I agree with you, but that goes to what Kay was just saying. How long is it going to take for that to resonate with other people?
It's not like a 10-minute thing. This is going to be years and years.
Because if you think about it, Dustin literally took almost a year and a half, 2 years to build his channel to the where it is right now.
Yes.
Yep. That wasn't a easy switch at the very beginning. I mean, that man went from being a pretty much Destiny channel to basically covering only Xbox for the most part, and then it really ratcheted up when he got the ABK stuff going on. So unless you got other people that are willing to put that type of work in to prove that it's not really that they're really not trying to skirt the line, then it's going to be a hard thing for just somebody to come in and say it just flip their colors like anybody else can.
No, that's a strong point.
Fantastic. Yeah, and there's a couple of other people who like are out there from a media perspective. Like you could say, Jez is media, right? You could say Geoff Grubb is media, Paul Tassi is media.
Tom Warren is another one.
Exactly, right? And they're out there, right? And it's like, well, okay, and let's see what we can do to make this a little better. Fair enough, right? So, but yeah, it's not going to be immediate. This is going to be years, right? Yeah. Now, here's the thing that really sucks. If you went into this generation, 2020, 2021, Xbox had a lot of enthusiasm, and the media was giving them some breaks. Yeah. And then they had the disastrous 2022 that just destroyed it all.
Yeah.
And then the next thing they got was Hi-Fi, which is good, but then they had Redfall. And it's like, dude.
Yeah. They shot themselves in the foot multiple times.
If they hadn't, those things just make it conscious or subconscious. Like, people just like, okay, Microsoft, you're gonna screw it up again. It's just the way it is.
Actually, Kay Asante, what do you always say? What is your line?
I was just about to say it. It's defeat from the jaws of victory, baby. They have victory right at hand, and then they hit the stupid tree, and they hit every branch down.
You want to talk about the shift happening? 2021 players' voice game is Halo Infinite. It's only on Xbox and on PC, right? And that game, of all the things out there, that game won players' voice. We had the enthusiasm. We had it. The community was coming over. They were very interested in the platform, and then Microsoft just found a way.
They step on rakes. But look, we have 40 minutes left of the show. This is going to be fun, folks, because there's 2 questions going to be asked to the panel. Now, real quick, Gaming Forte, I don't know if you saw this because you were on the road and you just got in here. Remnant 1 and 2 just dropped into Xbox Game Pass. Shadow Drop.
Shout out to them. Remnant 2 is like my game of the year, bro.
There you go.
Forte, my first question was somebody check on slow-mo. Is his heart doing okay? Like, oh boy.
Man, I beat that. Shout out to Luca and slow-mo. We beat that game three separate times. We did the DLC that just released couple weeks ago. Wow. That's my game of the year right there, man. I love Remnant 2.
Good for you, man. And that's a big get to drop in the Game Pass. Shadow Drop. Just like, here you go. Take it and So, being that you're our special guest, I'm going to ask you these 2 quick questions. I'm going to ask this to the chat, and then after you, I'll get to the super chats, folks. Don't worry, I see them. I'm going to get to them. My question to you, because we know that Xbox is going to be there. Jez and Randall Thor have talked about it. They think they seem to think that it's gonna be pretty big. The two questions for you are very simple. What do you hope is gonna be there, and what do you want to be there?
Oh man, we talk about it at the Game Awards.
Xbox and the Game Awards, yeah.
Ooh, what do I hope want to be there? What I think is going to be there? Okay, it's about time that Hellblade gets taken out of the closet and we finally get to see some combat in there. I mean, that's what I hope and want. Like on my channel, that's literally the only game I've ever reviewed ever because it impacted me so much when I played it. I was like blown away by how.
Now, did you play with headphones?
Yes, absolutely. It's
Okay,
the only way to play that. It's the only way to play that. Only way to play. I mean, I played with headphones. I played with my surround sound system. It's like literally the only way to play that game. And I loved it. And I like I said, my only issue with that game has always been just like the combat just needed to be better. And it wasn't even horrible. I just wanted it to be better. So I just want them to unveil what this game is going to be at this point. We're like right around the corner from what this game needs to be on its way to about releasing and stuff. And they have shown a capacity of showing this game off at the Game Awards. It was definitely a letdown that we didn't see it last year. So hopefully we get to see it this year. So that's what I hope they're going to show. What I think they're going to show, I do think that we're going to see I do actually think we're going to see Fable at this show. I think we're going to see.
Oh, that's big, dude.
I think we're going to actually see, because I do think Fable is going to be a holiday thing next year, and I think they're going to show Fable and show what the game actually like. Because everybody kept saying like, "Oh, look at this screenshot. This is actually in gameplay." I do think we're actually going to get a chance to see actual gameplay of that game at the Game Awards, and I think they're actually going to give it a release date of next holiday.
Strong. Okay, so here's a bonus question.
Okay.
How many reveals? Because
that
we
Xbox
know Sony doesn't have anything to show. We know that we know for a fact, and I think I can get on my high horse here and say this: Nintendo isn't going to show off the Switch 2 because they're trying to sell the Switch this holiday. You know that, you work for GameStop. They're not going to show a 3D Mario that is expected to launch with the new console because they're going to do their own thing. So if Sony isn't going to show up because they don't have anything, we know that Nintendo is not going to tip their hand because they want to do their own thing. Right. It's an opportunity for Microsoft, for Xbox to get there and maybe hit us with like 3 or 4 drops.
Right. So how many reveals I think is going to be there from Xbox? I named 2. So I think it's going to be 4 total, because I do think you're actually going. I think Avowed is going to come early next year. I think you're going to actually see an Avowed trailer this coming out early next year, probably February or March. And the last one, it really just comes down to how ready it is. But I do think you're going to see something along the lines of what Gears has coming up for the next Gears. Either it's going to be a new Gears or it's going to be the remake of the collection that they're going to do. Because I do think that is a real thing, and I do think that's coming. Outside of that, it could either be Gears or it could be. I just had it on the tip of my tongue. I can't even remember, but I do think that's the other one is going to be. I think they're going to do something around Gears, because it's been a long time since for the Coalition. I don't think Gear 6 is ready. I don't think that next game is ready for them, but I do think that this whole thing that they've been teasing with the collection and everything, I think that's going to be the thing that they're going to talk about, and it's going to be coming out middle of next year.
That would be, dude. It would drop. That's a drop the mic moment, dude. Honestly.
Oh, I would fall in love, man. Go back and play those original 3 games. No, that'd be it for me.
Yeah, I saw someone actually. I think it was J Mo on. He just got an OLED and he was showing off Gears 2 on it, and it was looked. I was like, I gotta play that game again. That game looks.
The game is
still good. Good choices, man. Really good choices. Listen, Asante, before we bring you in, brother, let me catch up on the super chats. First of all, Andrew Norris drops an outstanding $7 super chat and says, whoa, Xbox just shadow dropped Remnant 1 and 2 into Game Pass. I'm convinced this was personally because of Phil. Well, Phil's been playing Remnant, right? He's talked about playing Remnant, and here it is in Game Pass. You might be onto something there, Andrew. Jax82 drops a $5 super chat and says, with Xbox making moves like this is nuts. I bought both Remnant games, and Game Pass is incredible for them to drop this bomb right now. Holy crap. And yeah, this is, I mean, Game of 14 just said it's his game of the year. This is, folks, a big deal. Pragmatic Eagle, a generous friend of the program, because folks, he's been a channel member for 50 freaking months. Pragmatic Eagle, I salute you, kind sir. Thank you for the generosity. He says the passion is great, but the message is wrong. They don't care about y'all, all y'all's feelings. They only care about guaranteed clicks from y'all, and he is not wrong. Cedric H drops an outstanding $10 super chat. Well, he did something that a lot of people have done recently. He says, I muted IGN years ago, and I don't regret it. And Jax82 drops an additional $2 super chat and says, Xbox Game Pass is the best value in gaming, hands down. We also have RC Polygons drops an outstanding, very generous $10 super chat and says, I believe Xbox has to brute force. I don't know if that's talking about the game or that'd be a great pun because I actually really enjoyed brute force on the OG Xbox. He says they have to brute force their way into turning the media by acquiring so much big franchises. It's impossible for the media to say all your favorite games suck. Hence, Xbox should buy Take-Two. I mean, I kind of like that. Listen, I want them to own as much as they can because you know what happens when they do? My value for Game Pass continues to go up and up and up. And, you know, for $17 a month, I'm getting all these games, which now includes Call of Duty, which is bonkers.
What would you pay for 18-month exclusivity for GTA 6 inside of Game Pass? How much would you spend?
That'd be like $1 billion.
It would be more than a billion.
Yeah,
it'd be billions.
It'd be billions. I personally said this the last week or the week before, where personally, I don't care how much it costs, they should go for marketing. And I say that because if you can, during the holiday season, slap Call of Duty Black Ops Gulf War and potentially, something from Xbox, whatever their first party is, and then on the other side of that is Call of Duty. That's messaging, man. And what you would do is you would get people to come to your. I'm not saying people are going to start throwing their PS5s out the windows or trading them in droves, but you're going to get people to buy Xboxes if Grand Theft Auto 6 logo is on your marketing. So whatever the marketing would be, if it's $1 billion, then you spend the $1 billion. And obviously, we know Phil Spencer is very good friends with Strauss Zelnick, who is the head of Take-Two. I think they should. I personally think that's the thing that you put the boot on the neck. You got Call of Duty. You got a bunch of really big first-party games coming next year. Halo has come back in a big way. Season 5 is amazing. And then you get Grand Theft Auto marketing.
Yep.
One quick question for you, Boom, on that. You have one bag, right? It's that meme bag. It says Microsoft and it's got the dollar and it's a big bag. you have two friends.
Bag.
The Scrooge, you know what I'm talking about, Forte. The Scrooge McDuck bag with the money sign on it. With the money sign on it. You have two good friends, and we've already called them out. The two good friends with weird names. Who do you give the big bag to? Lars or Strauss?
You got to give it to Lars because you need those studios. That's
my point. That's all I'm gonna say, right? Lars or Strauss, because it'll probably cost you the same amount of money for either.
I would go with Lars because of the importance of the studios that are working on your first party IP, plus potentially getting the Tomb Raider IP. Could you imagine, folks, if in the same 2 or 3 year period they closed out Bethesda, right? That's owned and operated by Microsoft. they close out ABK, and in the same 2 or 3 year bracket, they get these monster studios that have done incredible stuff, and they now own the Tomb Raider IP. It would be bombastic, right? That would be crazy.
Right.
So real quick before we get to you, Kay Asante, Michael Mooney drops a very generous £5 super chat and says, what if Xbox drops Gen 9.5 update for the Series X and S during the VGAs? I mean, I don't think that they would, because
they don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I mean, that's where they dropped the first one, so I don't see why they would shy away from it. They have no problem doing it. But that's interesting, Michael. Great point. And Andrew Norris drops an additional very generous $7 super chat and says, I got it. A new term for what's going on with Tassie, Destin, and others. It's tax lighting.
Oh man.
Oh,
so true. That's so true.
That's freaking awesome. Shout out to Andrew Norris, who now has hashtag tax lighting, which is fantastic. Okay, so Kay Asante, the questions now are posed to you, sir. What do you hope is going to be there? What do you want to be there? What are your thoughts?
Okay, so what will be there? And I'm putting myself out there right now. What will be there? 100%. Take it to the bank. Baldur's Gate 3, day one, Game Pass. That'll be there.
Oh, that's big, dude.
Oh,
Game
yeah.
of the year?
That's
Game of the year, Baldur's Gate 3?
That'll be there. Like with Remnant 2's announcement, I'm telling you, day one, Game Pass, it'll be there. It may drop the day of the show. Who knows?
They may say right now in Game Pass. Yeah.
Game Pass. It will be there.
With the DLC.
With the DLC. Ooh, maybe not the DLC. They like to make you pay for DLC.
I know. I'm just saying. I say I will hope with the DLC.
Yeah,
I mean, if it's going to be a bag, it might as well be a big bag, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Exactly.
What I want to be there, and this is just based on historical information, either Hellblade 2, because Hellblade 2 has basically lived its PR life on the Keighley's,
Game
right?
Awards, 100%.
Yeah. Or, because remember where we are, we're at the Keighley's, we're at Cinematic Central, the Fallout connection. Because there's a Fallout movie coming out soon.
Yeah.
Show,
Yeah.
and they've already shown you like snippets from screenshots from it. It is very close.
Really good.
Imagine the Fallout collection 1, 2, and 3 remaster remake coming soon, just in time for Fallout TV show. It's a thing. And where would you want to bring it? To the mecca of cinematic video games, the Keighley's.
Or announce that Obsidian is doing New Vegas too.
Yeah.
Mind blown.
Yeah, I would think the Fallout tie-in is if it's not Fallout, then it will be Perfect Dark. Because I feel like look at Perfect Dark. That's a very quote unquote hashtag just one, right? They're really trying to appease that audience that likes that stuff. So Fallout TV show coming, super cinematic. They're working with Amazon. Oh, interesting, right? So if you have any kind of Fallout games at this time, now's the time, right? They had a crazy sale. Oh, and that's the thing that people may not know, which leads a little bit into why I'm saying what I'm saying. During the Black Friday sale and Steam had the autumn sale as well. They had $119 sale on every Fallout ever made. Like all of it in one collection. And they didn't have any other collections for anything else. All they had, the huge collection, they had obviously discounts all over the place. But the big one that caught my eye was the Bethesda collection, but it didn't have just everything. It just had all the Fallouts. That's what it had, all the Fallouts. And they were selling it for like $112, $113 with the DLCs and all the extra stuff. So it tells me they want Fallout in the zeitgeist. They want Fallout in the conversation. We've seen pictures drop. You know there's going to be more attention. By the time the Keighley's drops, I bet we see a trailer for that show, at least either before it or during it. Because where else would you show that thing that is adapted from a video game that's super cinematic, right? So that's why I'm thinking, if nothing else, Hellblade 2, obviously, because even if they want to show you like landmarks where they used for mocap, they'll put it there. but most likely Fallout as well.
Strong picks, man. Strong picks. Okay, so one last bonus question: how many reveals?
How many reveals for the Keighley's, or how many reveals for Microsoft?
Well, for the Keighley's, what does Xbox? How many Xbox reveals? I should have been more specific.
How many Xbox
is
reveals?
It 3? Is it 4? Is it do they go balls to the walls because they know Sony and Nintendo are not going to show up?
I'll be honest with you. I hope it's one monster drop, followed by a Game Pass trailer, followed by come to our show in January. Well, you'll see more.
Oh,
that's
I love it. That's big, dude.
Because they have a team now. I've seen their video production. They know what they're doing now. There's no need to let others tell your narrative when you finally can tell it yourself. So give them a big, because like Boom, what you're saying, absolutely true, right? A lot of people are like, oh, don't give them anything. There are a lot of eyes, whether we like it or not. This is why we fight
millions,
the good fight, right?
Yeah.
This is why we fight the good fight. Whether you like it or not, the Keighley's is the Game Awards. A lot of eyes, more eyes than almost any other thing these days, right? So it's makes business sense to show them something. So show them something amazing, maybe Hellblade 2, right? Show them something awesome, and then drop a Game Pass trailer, because it's a Game Pass trailer. We always have to drop a Game Pass trailer, right? And then hey, join our our developer direct 2024, January or February. Sneak peek coming soon. Quick little sizzle. Leave them wanting more, and that's that.
Yeah, that's a strong pick. Infinite Umbra says Hellblade 2 is a certainty in his opinion. Absolutely. Now, Hargeet, I know he stepped away for a hot second, so we will get him back. And let me make sure. Let me just there you go, Hargeet, you're back, brother. Well, first of all, you're muted, so unmute yourself and let's get your takes, Hargeet.
Yeah, and it's trying to get this ready for you, but
Game Pass,
like we got from Kesante. Look, you don't put out an announcement that we're going to announce the release date at the freaking Game Awards unless there's something big coming
Game Pass. Yeah, that's
okay. And so at this point, if they don't do this, that's shame on them.
And by the way, Hargeet, you're not on social, so you don't know. They are now coming out of their way to be like, yo, Series S and Xbox in general.
The head of Larian Studios actually just
has given us so many benefits for even PlayStation and PC games. Why do you go back and change the narrative and try to mea culpa unless you got an Xbox bag? I'm just saying.
Exactly. and I think it's coming to both console and PC. I think it's coming to both. I think they've kind of already sold like the majority of what they were going to sell anyway. Yes, they may get a bump from the Game Awards, but they'll get a bigger bump with the 30 million subscribers or whatever number they have for Game Pass, right? So if they don't do this, this is just stupid, right? That should just be, like you were saying, Case, this is guaranteed. This should just happen, right? This should just be a thing. It should just be done, right? Because otherwise, there was no point in making an announcement to say we're going to announce the release date.
And then it comes out, and then everybody ends up playing Starfield and neglecting your game,
right? So that's one. This has just been a thing with the Game Awards with Hellblade 2.
Yeah.
So do I think it's going to be there? Probably, unless it needs to like bake a little bit more and it won't come out till fall. I think they're going to show it and say it's releasing sometime in the first half of the year, right? So I don't want to see this unless you're showing me the actual combat and a release date. Otherwise, just wait and just put it in your June showcase.
You don't want to see any more terrain? You don't want to see terrain?
I'm done. I'm done seeing this. We've been seeing this since 2019, right? Because this was revealed with the Series X at the TGAs.
Yes.
So, okay, I'm done. Like, if you're gonna put something out there, it better be the combat with it's coming out in March or April or something. Otherwise, just shut up and show it to me when you're ready. Right. I don't want to see it anymore, right? So, Hellblade's Hellblade. And there's this. Will we see some Gears?
Oh, dude, I love it.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
I hope not. They need to save Gears for their own show, because that's their show. Come on.
Yeah,
maybe
that would be
maybe for the
moment, though.
Maybe for Gears 6, I agree. But if you're gonna do something smaller,
Gears Collection, okay. But Gears 6.
But even then, what if they do a teaser for Gears 6? and say, we'll have more to show you at the June showcase.
Yeah.
Right. And just so you get so look, Gears is one of the big franchises, right? So
it is still big.
Let's start teasing, right? Let's be bold.
So real quick, Boom.
So,
sorry to cut you off, Hargy. We have Mr. Gears Collection himself in the chat. Special Nick is in there. What's going on, sir?
Oh, Mr. Special Nick, all the way from Xbox era, all the way.
What does he have to say?
Australia.
What is he saying? What are you saying?
What is it? Let me see. Let me find it.
No. I just saw him in there the minute you said the Gears Collection. I'm like, oh, he just showed up.
So look, I would like to see if there were, like, we've been hearing rumors, and I think and Special Nick actually said it, right, that there's a Gears. So was it him? He's been saying this for years.
He actually says good day all and good day to you. But yeah, he actually is the one of the first people to actually break that story on Xbox era regarding the Gears collection that he swears up and down is real.
And why not, right? And like, there is a chance to update it, and let's bring it to a new generation, right? So why the heck not? So I wouldn't mind if they do that. Plus, I think some of these never made it to PC, correct? And that's something I'm sure Xbox wants to fix. Hey, like, let's get the entire thing onto PC. So I see this as a potential, and it's not a bad announcement here, right? So it could certainly be good at the June showcase. That's fine. But if you mix both of them, if you say there's a Gears collection, and here's a like teaser for Gear 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude,
that's a pretty big thing to show.
That would make people go crazy. Cool. Yeah, dude. Yep.
Okay. The next one, Indiana Jones.
Holy crap, this is huge. I love it.
So we know it's coming, obviously. We got an announcement in 2021, I think, right? That was when Bethesda was bought, and then like right as they were being bought or right before they were bought or something like that, right? Like
you got that teaser trail of them just going across the desk.
It was just
yeah,
exactly, right? So it's like, well, okay, it's been years, and they've been making this for a while, right? Their big last game was Wolfenstein 2, and yes, they had that little in-betweeny game, but whatever. So they've been working on this for a long time. It's kind of due. Now, if it's going to be coming, Keighley likes those, like, movie tie-in things. Yep. This is a big movie tie-in thing. Granted, the movie that came out wasn't well received, but
do you know what comes to a Disney Plus on Friday?
Oh, wow. Well, how convenient. How convenient. So could this be, something that we see in a more thorough fashion, right? Some, like, not just like we had a teaser trailer, but some gameplay. Let's just see what this game is, right?
Is it first person? Is it third person?
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
We know this is a confirmed exclusive, right? They actually,
they
confirmed that it's
exclusive.
They paid it.
Yeah.
Yes, they paid the cost.
So why not, right? And it creates enthusiasm. Hey, this is one of those like Uncharted like games, right? Uncharted was actually built on this kind of concept, right? So so why not? This would be a great one to showcase. Hey, this is a reason to come to Xbox. So I think this is a potential. I don't know how realistic it is. Again, it's wherever they're on the dev cycle, but this kind of do. And beyond a teaser trailer, this would be the first time they could really showcase what is this thing. And maybe it's a couple of years out. Fair enough. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's coming out in the first half. We don't know of next year, right? So if it's something that's coming soon, good time to show it to 100+ million people that will be watching the Game Awards, right? Yeah. Let's showcase. Hey, this is an exclusive coming to the platform. Come join us or play on PC. We don't care. Play on cloud. We don't care. Fine.
It's still a big IP.
Right? So yeah, this could be one of the things that comes, right? So now, are there other potentials? There's the potential for like the Larian acquisition happening. That would be hilarious.
Could you imagine if that actually happened at the Game Awards? Like, people would just lose their shit.
I think the show was fake at that point. I think this ain't a real show. This show ain't real.
Right?
Then it turns into the MTV.
Turns into
MTV Music Awards, and out of nowhere, Phil just walks on the stage and starts kissing Jim Ryan.
Sad to see you leave, Jim, but I won. Anyway, so outside of this, there is some potential for something like a hardware reveal, right? We did see some leaks about a mid-gen refresh, right? We did see the potential for a controller, right, with haptic feedback and stuff like that. Maybe this is something they bring over here, right? Maybe it's not, maybe it is, but that is something they could bring here. But I mean, like, so I'm trying to think of something bold, right? What else would be bold besides Game Pass for Baldur's Gate? This would be exceedingly bold. It's something with GTA. If you do something there. Now, I doubt it. I highly doubt it. But that would be extremely bold, right? Doing something with GTA 6 and announcing
That'd be a lot of money spent, bro.
It would be money well spent, dude.
That's the thing, right?
Yeah,
is it worth it for them or not, right? Now, the reason I say this is simply because the management structure has changed. And that decision might be with somebody who is a bit more bold themselves. And if that's the case,
that would be President Bond.
Might that be a bold new step that just happens to happen? I don't know, right? I'm
President
just
Bond,
off the wall crazy, off the wall crazy, right? Because they don't need it. They have ABK. They don't need it. But oh my God, would that be a big announcement?
You know what a really big announcement would be? Something that they already own that I don't know if they would ever, if they're going to do it or they're just going to wait till they do another version of the game. What Halo right now is in a really, really good place when it comes to the multiplayer and everything. But if they were to come out and finally do something around single player campaign stuff and give you the continuation of the story,
out of my chair.
I would listen. You talk about, because like as much as people say, "Oh, Halo Infinite's campaign was okay," like it was great. I loved that campaign.
I gave it a 10 out of 10, and I stand by that.
It was a really good campaign. They finally did everything everybody wanted them to do with Atriox to bring him into the fold, into the mainline Halo, and the way that game ended. I was like, I cannot wait to see where they go with this. And a lot of people feel like they're kind of disengaging from that. It would be so amazing if they came out and said that this is what we have in store for Halo when it comes to the campaign side of it, and you don't have to wait that long for it because we've been working on it.
Bro, you some have heard me say Halo is dead. Multiplayer people love it. I'm a single player gamer. To me, it's dead. Now I will hearken on that Idris meme. Yeah. I hear what you're saying. Now keep talking because I want to hear that.
Yeah, because that right there would fully bring Halo all the way back if they did that.
Then I'm on board. Then I'm there. Absolutely. Yeah.
The thing with Halo is it is specifically an Xbox exclusive, right? So I don't know if it is a potential there. My thought is the next thing you're going to hear is whatever Certain Affinity has been working on, right?
I was literally going to say that. And you know, it's funny. They just said they were going to be showing something off in December. So
if they are, that's the thing, right?
The Game Awards potentially.
So if they have something, right? If I don't know if it is a battle royale, but if it is a battle royale and they want to show that, that's a good place to show it. That's fine.
Yeah,
to revive it. But they need to have something big to draw people in, right? The game's in a pretty good state. It still needs a little bit of work, but it's in a pretty good state. That would be something to showcase, right? To bring people in. But you need to have that like big thing, right? So if it's campaign, oh my God. But like I still think campaign is something they would put in their June showcase. That's just my theory. But
you know what I would love out of Halo? If we're not gonna, I see that's not my bag. You know what? One of the biggest surprises that I think the Coalition ever dropped, and that was that DLC with the three
Hivebusters. Hivebusters was fantastic.
Yeah. Fantastic.
It is, folks. I'm here to tell you, if you've never played Hivebusters, by all means, it is some of the best gears. The graphics are right now some of the best available, and the story was freaking absolutely fantastic. I wish they would give us a Halo story, and I would love it to be about Locke. What happened to Locke?
What happened to Locke?
What happened to Team Osiris?
You know, trying to distance themselves from that.
No, I totally get it, but it's still unanswered. I mean, there is someone wearing Locke's helmet as armor, man. I want to know what that deal is, right? So that would be pretty dope. Look, at the end of the day, Xbox, same thing. Xbox has a real amazing opportunity because Sony, we know, doesn't have anything to show. They just don't. And the reason why they don't is just look at their last two shows. They were awful. They were horrible. And Sony likes to drop the meat on the table, folks. You know it. When they have something to show, they show it. That's just who they are, right?
Yep.
Nintendo is not going to show you a Switch 2 at the Game
that's gonna
Awards
be their own
because
thing.
they're going to do their own thing as they've always marched to their own drum, right? That's what Nintendo does. And when Nintendo has this Treehouse event or this, this special event that they're going to do in potentially the beginning of the year, it's going to show you what the new console is going to look like and the new 3D Mario that they're launching it with. And
it could look very good.
And it's going to look amazing. And that's going to do their own thing. And again,
4K Mario.
So the last thing I would say as I want, and if it's something they want to just like do as a big thing, is Family Game Pass. If they can make that something that they can actually make happen,
that would be huge.
They did the beta, they did the test, and then they dropped it, which to me sounds like it didn't work out. Right? That's what it sounds like, because otherwise they wouldn't have taken it away. So I don't know that it's feasible. But if it is feasible, like, it's the best time to do it. Your competition just upped their prices, and right now is a good time. A lot of people are hunkering down. There's a lot of financial consternation out there. If you can make Game Pass Family Plan happen, that's it. Just like if you continue the sales pattern, if they continue to say, hey, 200, just above 200 to get a Series S. Family game plan available, like Game Pass available, like, wow. Like, you just make it so compelling for people, right? So it'd be an interesting, bold move if they wanted to do it. Again, I don't know if the financials work out. That's been the thing. Otherwise, they wouldn't have taken it.
Quick honorable mention, Hargeet. I agree with you that if they have the ability to do Family Game Pass, that's 100% what they should do.
Yeah.
My question is, what the hell happened to 1 versus 100, which was announced 1.5 million years ago, seemingly?
Yeah.
And then they fired all their VR developers who were working on the 1 versus 100.
I don't know. I mean,
have they quietly?
Phil wants to bring that back.
I don't know.
Yeah, like that's
we'll see. I mean,
I have heard Phil Spencer with his own mouth say we are working on it during it.
He actually said that. Yeah.
So until he says with his mouth again, we are no longer working on it. I'm assuming it's somewhere in the annals that need to be worked on, right?
So one of the other things that could happen, this is a minor thing, is Killer Instinct just got its anniversary, and we got some announcements of things that are coming, right? But do we really have any solid plan? This could be an opportunity to say, hey, the next content drop will drop in blah, and it will have these things, right? It's just kind of an interesting time to do it. It could be an ad, or it could be an actual, showpiece that they actually showcase, right? Hey, Killer Instinct in a year of fighters, right? It's been a year of fighters. This is something we're bringing to the platform exclusively on our console, right? But otherwise, what we will have is that the lies of the ponies will be made clear.
Oh my goodness! Look at you! I love it. The lies of the pony.
Oh man!
The lies of the lies of the ponies will be laid bare.
Dude, that is scandalous. I love it. Targi just dropping it like it's hot.
Digging knives,
And as King said, we will advance the line.
Indeed, we will. And shout out to King David. That dude has been dropping video after video after video. All great stuff. We love King David on this channel. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for your 2 hours tonight. Again, we had over 700 people here. That is absolutely amazing. If you're finding the channel for the first time, folks, we are under 300 away from 14,000 subscribers, and you can help us get there. All you got to do is hit the sub button, hit the bell icon so you know when I go live. And I do this 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, all different panels, all different shows, but all great content. We never sell you hate, and we definitely don't clickbait on this channel. We tell you what we're going to talk about, and we talk about it. And sometimes it's, we talk about PlayStation when they're messing up. When Xbox messed up, well, we talk about them too. And of course, you'll occasionally get some Nintendo talk in there because I'm a big Nintendo fan as well. Let's get to the outros, and a big shout out again to all of the Super Chats, folks. Again, we've already done 2 big giveaways, and this December, which starts Friday, we're doing our 6th annual Christmas with Mr. and Mrs. Boomstick. And you know what? Mrs. Boom wanted to up the ante, so to speak. So this year, we're giving away in 2 hours $1,500 worth of prizes. That's right, folks. You heard it here. 10 $100 gift cards and 2 grand prizes, folks. 2 people in the chat that day are going to walk away with a $250 gift card each. And that's courtesy of Mr. and Mrs. Boomstick. And obviously that is funded by the people that continue dropping the super chats and, of course, the channel memberships. What we do is we take all of those monies, we tuck them away for these big giveaways, and we put back into the community what you guys and gals have given us. And, of course, we can't do that without your generosity. And, of course, this is, again, the biggest contest we've ever done on the channel. And obviously, we've only been doing YouTube for 6 years. But let's get to the outros, and we'll start first with Gaming Forte, one half of DPS, with obviously slow-mo backslap. My brother, thank you so much for joining us again. I'm going to add you to the DM. I don't know why you're not with the DM, but
I don't know. I looked and I wasn't in there.
Yeah, I'm like, what happened to you? So you're added now. So anytime you want to join, there is no, hey, boom, I want to join. You just come home and walk through the front door. Brother, sell your brand. Tell everyone where they can check out your podcast with Slow-Mo each and every week. And more importantly, where can people find you on social media?
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. This is a great show. And like I said, you always keep doing what you keep doing, and I appreciate it. And it's been a long time since I've been on the podcast with all you guys. Hargy, it's been a minute because we haven't done RDX in a while. Shout out to Diller. He'll be ready to come back at some point. But for me, Gaming Forte everywhere, YouTube and Twitter. DPS podcast with the homie Slow-Mo Backslap will be on my channel tomorrow at 9 p.m. Going to be talking about a lot of the stuff that's been going on in the community over the last couple of weeks because we didn't do a show last week like most people didn't. But with that, I'm mesmerized by your Titanfall gameplay. It's been a long time since I played that game, and I might have to go back and play it.
That's new footage, too. That's after the update.
Look, every time I see this game, I'm like, man, the game that could have been if they would not have sandwiched it in between 2 behemoths. But
Battlefield and Call of Duty.
Who does? EA does that, but okay. EA does that. But no, really appreciate it. Shout out to the chat. Been really, really cool. Amazing being around you guys. And I'll definitely make sure I come back again because the time that you have this show at, I'm actually usually at home around that time. So I should be able to make it through here a couple of times.
Anytime you want, brother. You can come every week or every other week. Whenever you have the time and you want to come and hang out with us, we would love to have you because you always bring great points of opinion. And you know what? We have fun. And obviously, again, you're one of the founding members, the founding fathers, if you will, of Primetime Gaming. He helped me launch this. It's only fair to have you come back whenever you want, brother. That is for sure.
Thank you. Have a good weekend, guys.
Yes, you as well. And Hargy Chani, please sell the brand of course, Game On Daily. And man, oh man, Gaz is just, well, he's being Gaz. He has been slanderous. And he did some sort of, I don't know if he was humping the camera, but he did something that was quite shocking to me, and I didn't understand. He's growing in his beard, and he showed him banging the. I don't know what he was doing.
You really want me to explain what he was doing? It was from a Sony fan's point of view.
Oh,
what would they be doing to a certain executive?
Man, yeah. Christmas. I'm sorry, I asked. Sell the brand, brother. Tell me where they can check out that shenanigans. More importantly, not find you.
That is gas. It's GameOnDaily.com, YouTube.com/GameOnDaily. And RDX, I think, is going to be coming back next week. We'll see. Hopefully, it does actually make it, but we should be ready to go hopefully next week. And that's Tuesdays, 8 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. And one more week. We have one more show before the Game Awards. One more week before the Game Awards comes up. That's the next big, huge thing for us. Hopefully, we get a whole bunch of announcements. But yeah, we've been enjoying a whole bunch of games, and hopefully, I continue to finish a whole bunch more. But we'll see you guys here next week, Wednesday at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time again for Primetime Gaming.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, I'm actually finishing up Hogwarts right now, which I'm just falling back.
You hadn't finished that?
No, I didn't, dude.
My goodness.
I'm 75% done. Like I'm literally almost done with it, but I'm doing all the side.
Biggest snub of freaking Game Awards. No Hogwarts at all. Like, come on.
disgusting.
Wow.
Gross. And last, in no way least, Que Asante, obviously the Gaming Circle podcast returns with one half because someone's in the old age home with no knees. You'll talk about that. Who is going to be guesting with you, and what are you guys going to be talking about this Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time? And more importantly, where can people subscribe and reach out to you on social media?
Yeah, first and foremost, of course, we appreciate the panel members. Always great to have the legendary Gaming Forte join us. Thank you, sir. Always great to have you around. And of course, the man Hard Geek Chani also providing some level-headedness during some of the proceedings this evening, which is always appreciated. But no, you can catch me, and of course, we had the great my great co-host, Mr. John Wolf, also jump in for a little bit. Yes. You can catch me and John on Monday nights on the Gamers Playground. We missed it last week because we were busy. So the whole holiday season and stuff. So we're eager to jump back in and talk some more PC gaming stuff. More and more as these devices get in people's hands, questions arise, and we want to talk about it. And what can you do? What can't you do? How you can make it better? All that stuff. And of course, Saturdays, myself and the kneeless one, Mr. Everborn Saga.
One.
Yes, the one who will schlep his way to the mic because he has no knees because they are mine. We will do that on Saturday morning. Unfortunately, I think he may not be here this Saturday because he had some situations. I'm not sure. We're still working out in the background, but I will have the aforementioned John Wolf join me as my co-host, and we're still building on our guest and all of that. But I have a feeling it's going to be an interesting conversation. I have some ideas of a guest to invite to the show, and yeah, it's going to be one of those evergreen topics that people will either walk away from very happy, or there'll be more blood in them Twitter streets. But that just is what it is, But yes, I appreciate y'all having me as usual. Find me TKO Asante on Xbox, PlayStation, all the places that we communicate, and of course, when I go live, I will send it there so folks know that we started. So thanks again for everybody who jumped in, both panel and chat. Always great to be on here.
Well, thank you very much. And once again, folks, thank you. 700 plus people here. Hit the like button before you get on out. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. And of course, folks, I'm going to close out the show with something that's incredibly important to me. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone, and we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. BoomStick and Friends.